there's organic growth and paid growth, right? But no matter what you're doing, you need to grow your base on this, because the competition is going fierce. Mobile penetrations are growing exponentially as well. So it means that there's no excuse of saying that this year my base got shrunk. It's a product problem, and then liquidity problem, traction problem as well. So we go back and track this. And later on, I'll talk about the transparency. So again, in a developing market like in Vietnam, I think we see the problem here as well. There's opaqueness, meaning that how to attract people to this, let's say, platform, and how to educate them, how to activate them is a problem, is an issue. So sometimes we do partnering to tap on this, understand the problems, or sometimes we go to partners that who experience beforehand. Then we go, we do some alliances or joint ventures with them so that we can take it to the next level. So let's come to the trends part. So this was the slide actually that I was talking about. The one on the left is a Craigslist website from 2005. As you can see in 2000, the right side is 2015 actually. So almost 10 years apart, there's not much of a change. You can see the blue lanes and everything, but on the ones that is happening as a trend right now, it's been disrupted. All these business models is a disruption of another. So let's talk about Nextdoor, let's talk about housing, and all these business models are still being cut under as well. Meaning the verticals, horizontals are becoming verticals, and verticals are becoming niche players. So what do I mean by that? So this is a slide from another venture capitalist as well. And you can see that the verticalization of horizontal is moving quite fast. So eBay as a platform who's verticalized by Reverb. Reverb is a guitar seller actually. It's the largest one right now, who's making, I think, $600 million volumes in America. We know Twitch, so it's a video horizontal. YouTube has been verticalized by Twitch as on the gaming side. Thumbtack is the local home improvement services company in America, which is quite successful in the sense. Block is a company who's doing renovations on bathrooms and kitchens, which is specifically verticalized or specifically focused on two niches. And these examples could be replicated in many, many ways. And again, which is an interesting one as well, Uber Eats. Uber Eats is actually verticalized, or let's say niched by Slice, which is a pizza-focused business model actually. So again, what I want to point out is this is the second trend. So I think we're not out of the ideas or anything. And this is going to happen in Vietnam no matter how, no matter what as well. In different forms and everything, but no matter what, it will happen. And the last one I think I wanted to tap on is from the business models where it's changing. So where we see on the first few business models like Craigslist and everything, it was both the demand and the supply side committed into it. So I need to buy something, then I send the money, there's an escrow, and then the seller sends the product, so it commits as well on the both sides. And this thing is changing actually. This mobile and user picks. So later on, the business model is evolving. As I said, these are business models that's evolving as well. So it means that I'm the one who's picking my own guitar. I'm the one who's picking my own jewelry and everything. Supply side is the one that needs to deliver this product. So where the product and services are differentiated in sense is we call it the variety. So this is the second, let's say the second wave that the market. And lastly, but not least, we see the marketplace picks. So in an example, I would say, so what happens in Thumbtack, for example, in the business model that we talk, is a local service provider that I need air conditioning cleaning. So it sends the bid from a homeowner who has an AC, who wants to get it cleaned today, to AC cleaner companies. And then they start bidding on it, right? And this model takes time. It takes money, obviously, operational risks and everything all over. But what Thumbtack's competitor is doing, for example, it's immediately from the reviews, from the product, from the speed that it evaluated, which is using the data, immediately tells you and sends you that person. So in Miro, for example, this is a photographer network. It only evolved only for real estate first, and then into food pictures, events, and everything. So what it means that the best picture photographer for an event is not the same for, let's say, a wedding. So I'm not going to send the same guys. So again, the marketplace picks the best of the best for us, actually. And we can see that in Uber and everything. And the last one is the B2B marketplaces. This I've also checked in my early years in Vietnam, which was 2015. There were some, like business directors and everything. There's none, actually, at the moment. Like all, let's say, kind of fuzzy websites. What I mean in B2B is, the first example is Flexport. So this one is a shipping forwarder company, which not only tracks your order in a ship and everything, but also it delivers on the other side without any risks taken. So the insurance is there and everything. So Propsy is a fisher market, online fisher market, which meets the fishermen, literally the fishermen, with the restaurants. Another business model is RigUp. This is the oil industry. Actually, anyone who works in the oil industry will know this marketplace. It's a job platform at the end, but only verticalized on oil workers or any employee on the oil side of the business. And the list is long, but what I mean is this is one of the, let's say, one of the models that I think it still has potential to evolve. And it's not hard to say that in B2B marketplaces, B2B businesses, which the digital distribution or the transactions have never happened, we're still in the dark ages. So I can imagine that digitalization of these niches is going to happen in very obscure, very interesting ways in the long run. So let's get into Vietnam a little and talk about it. And so for me, the small, and if I had to make a 3-word summary of the marketplace, is Vietnam is opaque, fragmented, and too crowded. So what do I mean by this? And I think we talk about the opaqueness of Vietnam anyhow. We know the constraints. There's not much of a, let's say, transparency yet in the market. And also the players are there, but small players, medium players, there's no consolidation yet. It never happened, which means that we can help them grow and support them. Too crowded, I think you can understand where it is wherever there's an opportunity to make money, another player comes in. This is the thought of like, I can do better kind of idea and everything. And people, some of the ideas are better than the others. But the thing is, what I've seen so far is it works, sometimes it doesn't work. There's no funding, there's funding, there's a great team, but some people leave early. It means that I want my own venture, so it gets crowded and crowded. So let's talk about the evolution first, and then I'll get into the details. I think it started with the newspapers, as normally in Vietnam as well. In between, there's internet comes to Vietnam in, let's say, late 90s, and then the horizontal happens. So the horizontals are, let's say, move on in the sense, and then it's the first one, and then Chotok came into the picture on the side. And then the verticalization happens with many verticals in this sense. And then e-commerce jumps into this, and we know that there's B2C and C2C e-commerces as well. The one that I couldn't add is Shopee in the red one here. So search engine, I think it's a milestone to share this as well. Vietnamese people were concerned about they're not getting relevant searches on Google. So it started with Vanda, I think if I'm not mistaken, and then it evolved into Chotod. So both let's say Russian investors who are coming in who understands from the linguistics NLPs way better, and using Vietnamese engineers in the sense that making a new product and great product actually in terms of evolving that. And then gig economy started to move into Vietnam with Uber, Grab, and I think we can see new examples of that coming in as a local players, as well as B, Vato, and others as well, and disrupting the taxi businesses or delivery businesses. And we will talk about it in the next slide. And online brokerages. I wanted to say, to be honest, like for Reve, Topsy, and everything, I wanted to say that these are the business models for transactions. Yes, there are transactionals, but the thing is, they keep telling that we're the Uber of real estate and everything. But the thing, what they disrupt is actually the underbelly. What I mean is the brokerage. So they're cutting the broker in the sense as a middleman, but also they're generating another middleman in the sense with their own well-trained professionals. So I cut them as an online brokerage in the sense. And marketplaces as a whole, and these are some of the pioneer business models that I wanted to put as players. Everything we can, let's say that we can expand this categorization of many others actually in the marketplace. But if I cut to the chase, as you can see, there's more than 60, almost 70 prop tech listing websites in Vietnam. And at some point, we can see that so consolidation was going to happen. We see some acquisition already happen internationally. But in the long run, I'm seeing in real estate, it will definitely be disrupted much more than this. And some of the players, of course, in listing spot, we already know the leader here, but I'm saying, but in other spaces, I think there's a lot of opportunities to happen. And finance, the reason I put it finance, I believe that tech-enabled startups in real estate will be the key winners in this sense, meaning not only the fintech, but also the banking. You can check this trend as well. A lot of banks in America are investing heavily on developing marketplaces, developing countries' marketplaces, actually. This happened in my country, in Turkey. This is happening in Germany. This is happening in Russia as well. And the reason why they need us marketplace is because we hold the data. The new form of data is not a phone number or a name or a birthday. It's and everything. And believe it or not, marketplaces are the gatherers of these information. I think you all work for marketplaces or interested about this topic, but I can share you top of mind, which there's a real estate vertical where I work for. Is we were negotiating with an insurance company or a bank company, let's say, or a fintech company. They're asking like, do you know how much their budgets are? Because we tend to do these surveys and everything. Nobody tells the budgets. Of course they don't. But the thing is, every search in a classified or any search as a marketplace is very important for us because we, let's say, keep the logs. Not we know the name or anything, but we can tag them later on. And this is the fundamental of data keeping for us. So a person who searches for a mins and maxes for a house that they're looking for, which is on their affordability, so that we can calculate actually how much money they're making. So reverse engineer it and then show it to the banks. And this is one of the first breakthroughs that we had with the lead generation programs that we started actually. Moving on, I think in the space of car and vehicle, I think it's one of the things that it needs to be disrupted in the short run in Vietnam. Maybe we'll say that cars are that, let's say, popular in Vietnam because of the, you know the reason, because of it's very expensive, it's high maintenance costs and everything. But in the long run, I believe that this is going to change, which means that the cost is going to change, the taxations are going to change, and the transformation will happen from the bikes to the car. Moving on, logistics, our e-commerce is surging in Vietnam, which means humongous growth. And I think this period of time as well will show us what the peak times for e-commerce is as well. And imagine some of the players are launching their own 2-hour deliveries. So first time I came here, we couldn't even track in 2015. We couldn't even track a package. Where it is it in the warehouse? Is it in the circulation right now and everything? Now we're in the verge of seeing when the package is going to deliver. So because it's thanks to all these logistic partners that we put in, or way others as well. And lastly, I believe in an ecosystem in classifieds. So that's why I believe in services. And one of the first ones that I've seen, there's also renovation companies, Halbians, and others as well. If I'm sorry, my Vietnamese, but not spelling them correctly. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, this is the local services. I have a problem with my again, cleaning services, and then I change it to another lady or another person. This is like where you go to business models and then check it. And this is a shared economy model, that where the person who's giving this service is making money, as well as the platform who provides it also earning bucks from it. Is a wonderful model, actually. And this suits Vietnam a lot, and it's the disruption is never there, actually. And lastly, I wanted to talk about some of my aspects on the real estate. So when I came for Vietnam, obviously I wanted to change some of the things that I understood, and then these are changed later on as well. So I came for the product, obviously, and then I stayed for the future of its market, actually. And I still believe in real estate. So the dilemma in a real estate, or mainly on most of the clients, are 4 components. Of course, there is a lot, but I want to discuss 4 main ones. So the first one that I want to is freemium models. So most of the people who's afraid of the competitors doing humongous deals, that I want to get into on the paid part. So if I want to challenge the number 1, I go freemium. So next one is quality versus quantity. This is number of listings. Do I care about if I have 2 million listings, or do I care about having 200,000 amazingly qualified, owned, and let's say know the owner, been there, got the keys and everything kind of listings? That we need to ask ourselves as well. The next one is search. Searchability is obviously introduced by search engines, but I think people don't care about searching anymore, because I want to find a relevancy. So this comes to the discovery part, that finding it is much more important, and we still have a lot of work to do in Vietnam here. And then next one is lead versus transaction. So leads, I think we fundamentally understand what a lead is and everything, but to describe it, it's the name, email, and a phone number is not enough anymore. So how can we take a person from offline, make it online, and online to offline again is a transaction. So end-to-end transaction is the most important, let's say, disruptions happening in marketplace. Then we have a lot of homework to do on the side as well. So these are some of the things that I want to share. Number of listings. These are the number of listings per day, by the way, and it doesn't include the, let's say, the seasonalities and everything. And I just wanted to put it in to share why, because I want to share from a freemium model point of view. It tells us the story from how we monetize, how we put the currency there, which is our currency is the listings, right? And then we mainly depend on most of the KPIs, and later on, I also want to discuss, maybe in the coming webinars, that how can we make it more openly for us for the metrics part, as if we know the components quite well, or macroeconomics of the country quite well, how much money do they spend? So average revenue per agent, per broker, and how much money do they spend on us and everything. Later on, this is the market shares, and these are all my opinions, by the way. We can talk about it, we can discuss about it. I'm totally open to it. But I knew that verticals are making the largest buck right now. In terms of dollars, this is not traffic or anything, but if you look in the marketplaces on real estate, again, property side, I know that vertical is much advanced in a better situation than the horizontals. Horizontals, yes, I agree that they have a competitive advantage in terms of traffic, but this does that they're coming for only for real estate. So they're coming for electronics, they're coming for compare pricing. So the intention is totally different. But it means that the models are changing, but the graph is still the same for the past 4 or 5 years, I would say. Online brokers, we talked about it, Propsy, Reve, and others as well came to the market, which is from Singapore and everything. These are the brokerage companies who are right now opening trade centers in large cities that they want to distribute their content through their professional brokers. I think it's a great model. I think it has still way to evolve and everything, and I would love to take it to the next step and maybe talk in another session on this. And which is MLSs, which is multiple link posting in several sites, sites, CRM tools and everything. This is like, I think, a very small portion goes to that as a revenue making. And iBuyer models that we talked about, OpenDoor, OfferPad, sorry, Knock, in America, these are the models, Redfin as well, and also Compass, I would say. These are 5 platforms that are doing extreme, let's say, extreme money in terms of creating an economy that's never been there. So imagine I'm buying a house from Denver, Colorado, $300,000, and then selling it for $100,000. Imagine the economy when it's down. Imagine what's going to happen next. And later on, this model has been also challenged by co-ownerships. This is comes with 2 ways. Number one is I pay you the down payment, or I do it with 50-50, 40 with one of my partners, one of my family members and everything. So I share this risk with them as well. And when I sell it, we get from the risks, of course, we can lose money, but mostly, let's say that we stay on the optimistic part, that we're making money from this as well. And lastly, this is my last slide. So future, how I see it is, again, tech-enabled transactions. Later on, AI-powered listings. This comes in many, many ways, by the way. It's from image recognition to scoring brokers to car dealerships, spare parts. All these senses, you can use AI actually to enable, or while you're posting an object, actually, you don't have to put all this information anymore. So I can understand that it's an iPhone. I can understand that it's an AirPod. You just need to type if it's AirPod 1 or 2. And these marketplaces models has already been there, actually. And again, we need to catch up with these in our market. Later on, I wanted to tap on data-centric verticals. This comes in terms of, let's say, evaluations, inspections of a house or of a car, of a motorcycle, and then I cut the check right now, or I share this information with parties who needs this information, data-centric models, and then this data is actually, without giving names and everything or securing it, you can share this data. And with the reports and everything, it creates a lot of values. And later, I think I was kind of, should I put it or not, AR, VR, but I think right now it's going to become essential with our lives. Imagine I need to go to a real estate project to buy. Do you think you will take this risk at the time of the year right now? You won't. So I think it starts to make more sense of a virtual reality, augmented reality sense, that I want to see if that place is for me. I want to see the view. I think this is all doable by VR right now. Also, AR applications, meaning that I'm buying a furniture, let's say that I'm changing my couch on the living room. I can remove the couch and then put the couch with an AR. This happened with, actually in Vietnam as well, with a startup called FitIn, F-I-T-I-N as well. So they're changing the business model as well, but I quite liked it when first they launched it, actually. So these are the trends that I'm seeing that is going to evolve in Vietnam. Hope to see you in brighter days, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Emre, for an excellent presentation. Uh, I think Emre did an excellent job of providing everybody an overview of how the marketplace work here in the world and also here in Vietnam, and the transition from the very basic marketplace to a more advanced now, and also give us some glimpse into the future and how it would work for marketplace and platform. That is the first part of the webinar. So I am going into the second phase, where I would like to share with you about some of the marketing practice and tactic and for the marketplace. So let me share my screen here. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Can you see? Can you guys see the screen? Can you see the screen?
It's coming, but
okay. Okay, seems work. So basically, let me put it in full screen so you can see it easier. Okay. So what I would like to show you here is for marketplace and also the platform I have experience. So first I would like to introduce about some of my experience. So I have experience working at the CEO for the Mary Network. It's what a marketplace for, it's what a platform for baby and mom and also wedding merchant, and also for the user to find anything they need related to wedding, relating to mom and baby. And then I was working at the CMO for COVID when they were launching here in Vietnam. And also previously I also worked with Emre in mua bán nhà đất, as this is one of the largest real estate platform here in Vietnam. So from my experience and over the years when I working on the marketing, on the grow, and also on the on how to build a product for the marketplace. Here is some of my condensed, some of my collective knowledge that I put together in a graph, so that to help everybody understand the user, the customer journeys of the user. So basically, the customer journey of a user on a marketplace, on a platform, is not that much different from how they would be in with any other business. But here we will have some kind of different and distinctive compared to how. Sorry, I see that Christine, you cannot see. You can try clicking on my avatar again to see it. Yeah. Here you can see with the customer journey, you can see in this graph that I'm showing here, there is two distinct parts. The first one is the red part, and the second one is the green part. So the red part represent the acquisition, and the green part represent the retention. So basically, we usually call our, when we manage a platform, we manage a marketplace, we call our the people who is on our platform at visitor, at user, at customer. They call, we used to call them interchangeably. That means we considering them at the same, but actually it's not the same. So the first thing that we should be noticed about how to manage the user on our marketplace and platform is that we should have a very clear definition and understanding of the user and the customer in each step of the journey on our platform and marketplace. So basically, when they coming to us, before they coming to us, they are what we would call an audience. So basically, an audience is mean that they haven't been on our platform or our marketplace yet. They are still in on the platform. That means they are on Facebook, they are on Google, they are on the search, they are on the the App Store searching for something. And then if they find, so for example, if they search on Google, or if they see our advertising on Facebook, they see what we bought on Facebook, or they see they find our app in a free category of the App Store, and they click on it. And they go to our website, or they go to our website, or they install our app. They become what we call a visitor. So that means we complete. That means the first action we need them to do is click on the content, on the advertising, and or on our app in the App Store. So if they click on it, they become a visitor. And if they do not click on it, they become something that we call undefined audience. Undefined audience is something that we don't know anything about an undefined audience. What we see is that if we running advertising, we will see that, for example, if we run the advertising, we will see that we have 1,000 impressions, but only actually 100 people clicking on the ad, and the rest of the people who do not click on the ad is undefined audience. So for the undefined audience, we have two courses of action. We can try to A/B testing. We can try to retargeting them again, increasing. We can try increasing the frequency of how many times they see our advertising. So for example, the first time they see our advertising, they do not click on it, but maybe the second time or the third time they will. And we can set up on our on our advertising. If after 3 times they don't click, they see our ad and they don't click on it, we will exclude them. That is something we can do. So that is for bad advertising. And for content, for the organic content, or what you share on your Facebook page, for example, there is no clear way to track this. The best you can do is you do some kind of the A/B testing with your content, trying to get as many people to click on it as possible. Yeah. So that's it for the click part. And so next we progress. So when they become a visitor, what they a visitor is that mean they just come to your website. They haven't do any action yet. They just come to your website. They have been looking around for a few seconds. They haven't do any real action or activity on your website yet. So what you need to do now is that you encourage them to do the first action. So the first action here is something that I define. For example, if they go to your website, the first action, you have an e-commerce website, you have a website that you selling the product or a service or something. So the first action you would want them to do, if, for example, for an e-commerce site, that would like they would register their account, or they would click to search for a product. That means the first action is something that it will be different based on the website. So for some e-commerce website, it would be registering the account. For another website, it would be that people click and search something on the search bar. And for another website, the first action would be that they search for the product and click add the product to the cart. So the first action would be something that, depending on you should define the first action. What would be the first meaningful action that you would like your visitor to do? This first action is important because it separates the people who interest and the people who is not interested in your content and what on your website. If they come to your website and they don't do the first action, if they do the first action, they become what you call a user. So for example, if they click and add the product to the add to cart, or they register an account, they become your user. But if they do not do it, they just come to your website and they left, they become what we call an undefined visitor. So an undefined visitor, that means that somehow the content that you put on the other platform like Facebook, Google, or advertising, it attractive to them. They click to it, but somehow when they go to your website, they are no longer interested, or your website just do not have a good interface, a good website interface, or they do not find what they need on your website, and so they left. So basically, for the undefined visitor, the best you can do is that you try to encourage them. So basically, when they come to your website, you with the current technology and you can capture the something we call the cookie of the people who visit your website. So with the cookie, if you link your cookie to Google and you would go to Facebook and to the ad platform or the ad network, you can literally retargeting them again. So this is very so it's easily to see. For example, if you go to Lazada or Sendo or Tiki and you search for some product, you click on that product and you leave and you don't buy it, even if you haven't put it into the cart or you happen log in, you later you will see the advertising from Lazada, from Tiki, from Sendo following you, showing that product to you. So basically that is what retargeting and the cookie we do. So you can encourage them, you can try to show them on different information, different product, different advertising banner, different content to try to convince them. So basically for the visitor, for the undefined visitor, the thing that you would like to do is that you try to convince them to do the first action. You do not try to sell them something immediately. You do not try to tell them that to pay you the money, to spend their money on your platform. What you should do for the visitor is that you convince them that they should do the first action first. So these are the important things that you need to notice. So basically, if they do the first action, they become a user, and from a user, they will come upon where they have to convert. Convert means that they do a transaction or they do a second. After the first action, there will be the second action, which we usually will call the conversion. So basically, the conversion is something that they do that will generate the value for your platform or your marketplace. So it will be different from the first action. The first action is that not necessarily have to generate the value for your platform. Basically, the first action is just to separate the people who interest and the people who is not interested. But the conversion is an action that will create the value for your platform and your marketplace, for example. So if the first action is that they put the product into the add to cart, the conversion, the second action, the conversion is that when they finish the transaction, they finish successfully buy the product on the e-commerce, on your platform, on your website. So that is what the conversion. So when they buy it, your platform have get the revenue. So that means it generate the monetary value for your platform. And so that is the conversion. So that is the difference between the two actions. So after the user, if they do the conversion, they become a new customer. That means they become the customer who buy from you for the first time, and they become a new customer. And for the user, if they do the first action, but somehow they do not finish or finalize the conversion, they become something that we call inactive user. So basically, the inactive user is a user who already do the first action. That means they are interested, but in the end, for some reason, they don't proceed to complete the transaction, to complete the conversion. So for the inactive user, what you can do is that you will try to engage them. Yes, I see someone asking a question. Yes, I will share this with everybody after the presentation. This is publicly on my blog as well, so you can always view it later, no problem. So basically, the inactive user, what we should do is that we engage with them. Engage by engaging mean that we can for the visitor, you only have their information such as the cookie. So basically, you only know that they visit your website. But after the first action, when they become the user, you have more information on them. First of all, you have information such as the register. You have the information such as their email, their name when they register, and what they view on your platform and website. So basically, you know a little bit more about them, and at least you know what they are interested yet. So the thing you need to find out is why they do not complete the action. So the engage here is that you could try to run some of the the personalized engagement activity. For example, if they view some of the thing, I think some of the e-commerce they are currently doing, you can try it. So if you go to Amazon, you go to Lazada or Tiki, you click on a product and you add the product to the cart, but you do not finish the purchasing. Do not finish the purchase. Then after I think around 2 or 3 days, you would receive an email from Amazon, from Tiki, from Lazada, remind you that you still have a product in your cart. Please go back and finish the transaction. And in some case, for example, I did try this before. So if you order some high level high value item like a TV or something on the e-commerce side, after 3 days they have a remind email for you to complete. But if you still do not do the transaction, after I think after 2 weeks or something, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they will send you another reminder and tell you if you buy the product now, they give you 1% or 2% or maybe 50k or 100k discount for if you buy the product. And that discount code is one time use for that product only. So that is how you can engage. And so basically what you try, so for the inactive user here, what you try to make them do is that you try to make them to encourage to make them convert to make them do the action that will generate the value for your platform and marketplace. Yeah. So after they do it, they become a new customer. So basically, the new customer is someone who do the first transaction on your website. So from audience to the new customer, we finish the first part of the acquisition. That means the process of acquiring new customer. So when they become a new customer, this new customer will start transition into the second phase, in which we call the retention. Retention is the process that after they become our customer, how we can extract, we can generate, we can get more value from them. So for the new customer, the next thing they can do, depending on the platform, on your platform, on your marketplace, depending on different website, what they can do is that they keep using your product. For example, if they after you use GoVid for the first time, what you can do next is you can order, you can try booking the GoVid again, try to buy again after the next day. So that means that you retain, that you becoming their returning user, their standard customer. So after they use your product again the second time, they become a standard customer. They become a standard customer, and that means the user who use your product more than one time. That means after they buy, they do the purchasing, they do the they convert again, they become a standard customer. So if they do not convert, if they use your product, your service one time, your platform one time, and they do not return, they do not use your product again after a certain period of time, usually it will also depending on the platform. So for an e-commerce, it means usually after 2 months or 3 months. For a platform like GoVid or Grab, it usually after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, if they haven't used it again, that means they automatically become a churn customer. That means a churn customer is someone who used the service one time, and then for some reason they don't feel the need or they don't want to use it again. So for the churn customer, what you want to do is that you want to reactivate them. That means somehow you need to get them back to use your service again. They already use your service one time, so they know the drill, they know how it's work. You don't need to teach them how to use it again, like an inactive user. But what you need to do is that you need to incentive to make them want to use your product again, or at least find out what is the problem, why they do not use your service again, and instead stop using it. Because the competitor, they have a more attractive deal, or is it because the product that they buy the product from your platform one and they are not satisfied with it? So the thing you need to do is you need to find out what is the problem with that, and that process is called reactivate. So, and also if a standard customer, they can also choose, we can, for a standard customer, we can choose to find a way to upsell and cross-sell our product. So upsell and cross-sell, for example, like easy to understand, everybody using GoVid or using Grab or B right now, right? So basically, if you use the service, you use, for example, when you register for the service, you use it to call Grab car, you call Grab buy, or you call Go buy or something. But later, if you decide using the buy service, you also using to call the food, to order the food online. That means you using multiple of their service. So that's called the cross sell. That means one, so a user who use multiple service at once, somehow that user should be treated better than a standard customer who only use one of your service. So for an e-commerce website, a user who buys something, who buy multiple things on your website should be treated differently from someone who only buy occasionally, one every 2 or 3 months from your website. So for the upsell, so for example, if you're using Grab right now, they have something like a subscription bucket. So that means you can, if you go with, you buy Grab car, you go with Grab car, or you use their food ordering service a lot, they have the subscription for you. And so if you buy the subscription, it can be considered as an upsell. So basically they pay like 500K or 1 million per month to have a set of voucher to use for the whole month. So basically it's a subscription. So it can be something like a upsell. For example, if you have if you use Tiki, I think Tiki, they have something like Tiki now. So you pay another smaller amount of money and you get free shipping or something like that every month. So if you buy a lot from Tiki, that would be valuable for you. So basically that's also upsell. So basically if we cross sell or we upsell successfully to them, they become a premium customer, right? But if we do not successful in upsell or cross sell to them, the best that we can do is that we try and keep retaining them, keep retain them again and again. At least they do not use our service a lot, but if they keep using our service, that's good enough. So that's it with the upsell and cross sell. And so even if they are, it's fine if they're just standard customer. That means I only have that's kind of need for your platform. I don't need more. But if we have the premium customer, standard customer and premium customer, we have another step that we want to move on. So when they become a standard customer or a premium customer, that means we successfully retain them on our platform. So that's the end of the retention period. And then we move on into the second phase of the acquisition. So basically, from the standard customer or the premium customer, we can generate new user, new customer. We can generate new user, new customer. We can generate new user, new customer from the existing user. So basically, what we see here is that if they satisfy with your product or your platform or your website, they will recommend it to more people. So basically, if they recommend it to more people, they become what we call a loyal customer. A loyal customer is even more important and more valuable than a premium customer. A premium customer, they only pay you more money. But a loyal customer, even if they are standard customer, they do not pay you a lot, but they bring you new customer. So the loyal customer is especially important to any business. So the main goal of your what you can do. So your main goal in maintain a platform and a marketplace is that how can we in the long run generate or create as many loyal customer as possible. That is the what we need to do. So for the loyal customer, if they agree to recommend, they advocate, they refer your product, they it will generate something, it will create something that we have the refer customer. So the preferred customer, if they decide to buy from us, they do the conversion and they become a new customer here, as you can see with the arrow here, right? So the thing is, so but what is it? But there is some kind of distinct, there is a distinct differentiation between the refer customer and a normal new customer. So a new customer, a normal new customer, is that someone who see your content, who go through the whole process on your website to become your visitor, become your user, and then finally become your new customer. That means when they become a new customer, they understand, they have been go through a lot of consultation, they get the support, they do the research, they understand about your product, and they decide to make the decision to buy your product. So that means if they buy your product and somehow even if they are not satisfied with it, they are okay, somehow they will be more, they will be less agitated, they will be okay, fine, I decide to buy this, and if this not suit me, so fine, it's my fault. But the thing with the refer customer is that it's a little bit more sensitive. The refer customer is sensitive and it affects directly to your loyal customer base. For example, if the refer customer, they do not do a research about your product, they just hear another loyal customer say, hey, I know this one is really good, I like it, I'm using it and I like it, you should start using it. So the refer customer is someone who just hear the application, hear the recommendation from the loyal customer, and they decide to buy it without any research, without any marketing involving into the whole process, and immediately they become a new customer. So the thing with the refer customer is that sometimes they are easier, they don't understand your product as well as a normal customer. So sometimes they just register and they expect, so their expectation, because they don't do the research, so their expectation might be different. And also if the refer customer is not happy, this will have a negative effect to your loyal customer base. And if you're loyal and so imagine that you are a loyal customer, you refer the platform or service to your friend, your family, and your friend and family somehow they do not enjoy the service or the product. This will turn out, it will make a bad impression on the loyal customer. So next time they are not gonna refer or advocate or recommend it to another one. Or worse, that they, because they see a negative experience from their friend, their family, they will stop using your service altogether. And that is not a good thing. So the thing is, we need to, when you operate, you managing platform or an e-commerce or marketplace, you need to have a system. You have something in a system for your platform that would help you to separate, to segmentation your user. You should be able to tracking them on the thing that they do on the on your platform and website and service, so that you know which stage they are currently on, and how you can, how for each of these user, how you can support them, how you can help them move on further into the journey. Yeah, so we need to make an audience become a visitor become a user become a new customer become a standard customer, we need to have them might be become a premium customer, a premium and standard customer might need to make them into becoming a loyal customer, and loyal customer create more refer customer. So these are the customer journey of a marketplace, of a platform, usually would happen with a platform and marketplace. But this customer journey is also applicable for all of the other service, not necessarily have to be online. It can be like a service, it can be like an English center, it can be a gym, it can be a spa. All of the model can be up. The customer journey can be applied for many of the model, as you can imagine. Okay, so these are the, and also I think you can view it later, but here is another chart that visualize what I said above and explaining what each of the user group is. later when I send it out, you can review it again. What is the meaning of each of the group of the user, customer, visitor group here in this one? Okay, yeah. And here below here, you can later you can also review. You will see that we have the audience. So what you should pay attention in each group of the user and customer. So for an audience, you should pay attention to the targeting and the testing of your advertising, the content, the first content like the ad, the post, the link, the format, the visual, and the cost per impression. So when they are a visitor, you should pay attention to the on-site content, where the visitor arrive after clicking the content, how long they are on your website, time on site, power rate, and then you pay attention to the cost per click, the visit, and the click-through rate. And if they are a user, you pay attention to the on-site consent from after the first action to before the first conversion, whether what is their what they are doing on your website, why they stop there, why they do not progress anymore, why do they don't do the conversion. You also should have some kind of way to tracking the conversion rate from a visitor to the user. For example, like we have 1,000 visits to the website, and out of the 1,000 visits, we have 10%. That means 100 of them actually clicking and do the search or add the product into the cart. So that means that is the conversion rate from visitor to user. And then we have the cost per first action. You use the total cost you spend for the advertising, for getting the traffic, divided by the total number of first action. You can track the first action of your platform with Google Analytics. That should be very simple. And when you have a new customer, you pay attention to the conversion rate from user to customer. So for example, like so depending on the platform and the website, some of the website, 70% of the user would actually convert to the new customer, sometimes 50%, sometimes 10%, depending on the platform and what you are selling on here, the value of your product. But there should be a conversion rate which you need to track as well. And then we have a very important metric here that you should all pay attention, and that is the cost per acquired customer, which for short is the CAC. That means how much you pay to acquire a new customer. You have the total amount of marketing expense, advertising expense divided for the total amount of new customer, and you should have the CAC. That is easy to calculate it, right? And then you have with the standard customer, you have you should pay attention to the retention rate and the churn rate. So basically, the retention rate is how many of your user return and buy from your website or your platform again after a certain period of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on the business. Some of the business might have 6 months lifetime period before they decide whether they are churn, the user is churned or not. And maybe the customer, and the next most important one is the customer lifetime value. So that means from the day when they buy something, the first time they buy something from you until now, what is the revenue that you generated from this customer, how much money you gain from this customer. And so that is the customer lifetime value that you have from your customer. So these two red metric is the most important metric that you should pay attention when you manage a platform or a marketplace. And then we have the on-site content. So it is something that you on-site content is something that you have help the customer to adapt. So basically, from the standard customer, from the new customer to become a standard customer, you should have some on-site content to help the customer to get to you, to know, to understand your product, to use it again, and also to help them to become well aware. It can be the FAQ, it can be the support side to help them to use your product better. So when they become your customer, they need the support, they need the content to support, they need the customer service there for them to help them to continue to use your service. So that's what it means to be the on-site content to help your customer to adapt. And then for a premium customer, we have the NPS average score, which I will tell you in the next section. We have the average revenue lift. Average revenue lift, that means averagely how much the premium customer pay compared to a standard customer. So that means whether your premium customer is paying more money compared to a standard customer. If you successfully you do more marketing, you do more value for your customer to make them from standard customer to become a premium customer, what would be the revenue lift? That means how much money you would gain from making them from convert them from standard customer to premium customer. This is a number that you should tracking as well. And then we have the cross sell and upsell successful ratio. So what is the percentage of a standard customer becoming a premium customer? And then we have the loyal customer NPS average score. I will tell you also later. Average recommendation ratio, how many of your standard and premium customer transition to become a loyal customer by doing a recommendation. So you need to have a system, a loyalty system, to track how many loyal customer you have as well. And then for the refer customer, as I said, they are a very sensitive group. So you should have a refer customer satisfaction score. You can do it by have a telesale people to call them. You can have it by doing some kind of a survey to know how satisfied they are, and you need to treat them more carefully. That's what I'm saying. So average revenue, and also you should have average revenue per refer customer, and you should have the customer acquired customer. So the CAC in the new customer is also the CAC for the refer customer, because a refer customer would automatically become a new customer. Yeah. So basically they are quite similar to each other, but just so they all linked by the CAC. Okay. And here below we have some of the undefined audience, undefined visitor, inactive user, churn customer. Each of them should also have a set of action that you can do what you should pay attention. For the undefined, as I told you, increase frequency with the CAP, A/B testing, more extra budget. For undefined visitor, you can do the retargeting. Retargeting should usually have higher conversion, and you should focus on first action. For the inactive user, you should have an active user versus inactive user ratio. So of your total user base, how many of them is active and how many of them is inactive? You should also know this number. And then you have the engage. You should engage them via the email, SMS, web app, push, with the goal is focused on the conversion. And then you have the churn customer. You should pay special attention to the churn rate, and you should see if your platform allow. You can see. So for example, before they do the conversion, there are 3 steps. So you should be able to see at which step they stop on your website before they complete the conversion. You should try to analyze it and see how you can encourage them to complete the conversion. And you should have a cost for reactive customer. So how much you spend to make them to go from a churn customer and become a converting a standard customer again. So you should also factor in the cost to do that. So these are some of the what you should pay attention in each of the group. You can read more later when I send you the slide later. Okay. So then we move into another two concepts that I would like to introduce to you. The first is the NPS. So NPS is considered as a de facto standard customer experience metric. So what is the NPS? So NPS is something that you use to monitor how your what is your customer experience on your platform and website, and how they feel about your service or your product. So basically, it's measured based on one simple question. So how likely is that you would recommend our company, our product, our service to a friend or colleague? So you can see that this immediately linked to the pathway from the standard customer, premium customer, and becoming a loyal customer. So basically, when you send a survey to all of your users, and they can rating from 0 to 10, you would usually see some of the service doing something like that via email or via a pop-up on the website when you are on their website. So basically, they will rate the experience with your product or service from 0 to 10. And so if they rating anywhere from 0 to 6, they are called a detractor. That means they are not satisfied or they are not happy with your service. And if they are rating 7 or 8, they are like the passive. That means they are okay with your service, but not extremely. They are not extremely happy, to be honest. And you have the promoter. That means they're rating your service from 9 to 10. So the NPS score, is something that you calculate by you disregard the passive people, and you have the amount of promoter minus the amount of the detractor. So for example, like if you have 100 people voting, do the survey, and you have 70 people is promoter. You have 2 people who is a passive, you have 7 people who is a promoter, and you have 2 or 3 people who is a detractor. That means you have the promoter, minus the detractor, and you should have your NPS score. So basically, the NPS score is something that different. It's called net from, yeah. So you can view the video later. But anyway, so basically, you should have after you have the NPS score, it should be like some kind of a percentage number here. It can be depending on your market, your industry. The number can be from 70 to 40 to 20. Here, the number should be here for like 40 or 20. And each of the market, each of the industry should have a standard NPS score. Usually for the real estate would have a different number. For e-commerce should be a different number. But the thing is, you should do it for the first time and see what is your current NPS score should be. And then you do this every year. You do it every year or every quarter, and to see if the NPS score is currently rising. So you should keep track of all the time you do it, and you would see the percentage changing over time. So if the percentage is increasing, that means more promoter, you have more promoter, and you have less detractor. That means you are doing a good job. That means you are satisfied more people. But if you see the NPS scores decline, reduce, that means your platform might have some problem, and they becoming more and more unhappy with what is going on. Yeah. So so the thing here, you can see more here, that the detractor, if you have the information of the detractor of people who are unhappy with your platform and product, you should immediately reaching out to them and asking what is the problem and how you can make it better for them. Because if they stay unhappy for too long, it will damage your brand. They will say that they are not satisfied with your brand to more people, and that's not a good thing. So, and for the passive people, overall they are fine. You can treat them later, but overall they are fine. But if sometimes they will be easy to be convinced by your competitor. If your competitor have a better deal, they will switch to your competitor. And for the promoter, you still should, they are loyal and they like to purchase from you, but you still should start trying to you should still start to trying to you should start trying to asking them, to support them, asking what you are doing well that make them feel happy. So basically, that's the NPS score on a simple term. So you have to type up NPS score, which is the transactional and the relational NPS program. So for the transactional NPS, what you do is, for example, what you usually do with the transactional NPS is after they purchase something, from your website, you follow up right away with an email or with a web push and asking about their experience on site and how the experience with the whole transaction. So that's why it's called transactional NPS. And so you can see here, the transactional NPS is to help understand the customer satisfaction on a granular level and provide feedback on a specific topic on a specific product, on a specific thing that they do on your website. The relational NPS, you do it, for example, like the yearly or quarterly survey sent out to all of your customer to get an understanding about how customer feel about your platform overall. So these are two kind of transaction, two kind of NPS that you can use for your platform, the transactional and the relational. Okay, so that's what it means. Then we were talking about, so basically on a platform, when you want to segment your user, you can usually, for example, how you define a premium customer or how you define a loyal customer. Beside what we were talking before, there's also another way that you can do it, and that's we call the Rfm analysis. So Rfm analysis is standing for the recency, the frequency, and the monetary. So the recency is what is the most recent time they buy or they purchase something on your platform, on your website. So, and the frequency is how many times in history they have been making purchase, and monetary, how much in total of all the purchase they have spent on your platform and website. So with the recency, with the frequency and monetary, you have the Rfm model. So the Rfm model, how it's work? It basically, if a user they have a high recency, high frequency, and high monetary score, that means they are like they are someone who we cannot lose. So here is an example. For example, if you use some kind of the engagement platform, they will able to tracking all of the information, and they assemble your user into different group for you. Here is a example as you can see here. Yeah. So it depending on your market, your website and your platform. You can, for example, here you can see, you can build a metric in which you can segment your user based on their score. So we have the Rfm, but it's not necessary that you have to use all three of them. You can use three of them, or you can use two out of three to make a determination, to make a segmentation of your user, depending on the type of marketplace or the type of platform you are currently managing. So for example, here is an example. We have the if a user with the recency from 4 to 5 and the frequency also 4 to 5 points, then they are a champion. That customer with highest import metric. And so for this customer, you would have a specific action you can do to make them stick with you, to make them stay in that segment, or to improve them. For example, like a champion, who that means the champion is someone who buy or using your platform frequently. That means F from 4 to 5, and they also buy from you just recently. That means they're still using your product or service. So that means for these champion, you don't need to give them incentive, you don't need to give them discount. But what you need to make them, you should make them feel special with a new product, to give them new product trial, to give them new loyalty program, to make them feel special. That's make them feel that, oh, they are happy and they want to stay with you. They feel like they are being treated differently from all the customer, and they should be. Yeah. And so for the loyal customer, you have a recency, they buy it from you not from 3 to 4, but the frequency of them is high. So they are the loyalists. They're just a little bit not as good as the champion, but they are still a very good group of users. They are loyal to you. So you should also have no incentive, but you keep them happy with the loyalty system and the referral program, something like that. Yeah. So for you to understand, you can see here you have the score. You depending on the score and how you see, you can divide them into different group of user, and each group of user would have a different action. So the action here is something that you have to think of for your own. So for example, like we have here the can slew them group of customer. That means the user you to be your loyalist and champion. They use your product and platform a lot, but recently they don't return to your platform anymore. So what you need to do, you need some bright incentive, you need some special loyalty program to get them back. You need to get them back, and you need them to stay on your platform again. So these are the meaning of the Rfm model. It's providing you an easier way to view your customer, to segment your customer, and to treat them differently, basing on how much you buy from you, when the last time they buy, and what is the total amount of money they spend on your platform. Okay, so that is the RFM model. Yeah. So here below I have some more information. If you need to understand more about RFM model, but I think you can see it later on the whole on this slide that I sent to you. So so that is the part about the platform and the marketplace that I think is very important when you do. So marketing for marketplace, it is not about, it's of course branding and everything is important, but one of the things you need to pay attention, that the block and the core of all the marketing activity for the platform, for the platform, for the e-commerce, for the marketplace, is that you need to grow your customer base. You need to acquire new user and still at the same time balance your retention activity in order to make them to stay with your platform as long as possible. So easy. So if you spend too much money on acquisition, so usually at the start, a platform would spend a lot of money in the user acquisition program. But later, when they have a big enough customer base, they will gradually transition into a more retention heavy. That means they pay more, they spend more time with to have the customer retain and keep using their product. So you can see that trend with all the platform like with Grab. You used to see that Grab spend a lot of money for the discount, right? In the last 4 or 5 years when you're using Grab, at the first 3 years, you see they spend a lot of money on discount. But recently, if you still using Grab, you see that they don't have a lot, they don't have much discount anymore. Their pricing is no longer attractive, but they have a big enough user base, and they are more focused in the retention now. So that is the thing that we usually see with many of the platform and marketplace. When they grow big enough, they will pay more attention to the retention and also maybe to the loyalty, acquiring customer through the loyalty rather than advertising and buy in advertising to get new customer. But the thing is to understand, to know what is the balance between the acquisition and the retention is the most important one. Okay, so these are the things that I would like to share about the marketing for the marketplace. So if you have, do you have any more question related to? So this concludes the second part, the second part of our webinar. So do you have any question or anything that you would like to ask me or Emre? You can speak up, of course, one people at a time, or you can type it into the chat, and I and Emre will take the time to answer you. Maybe we have 20 minutes to answer your question. Okay. Okay, I see a question in the here. I think it's a question for you, Emre.
Yeah. So let me read it out loud. What marketplace platform? Everyone know that more sellers, more buyers as a platform. You need to always monitor some key criteria. For example, Grab uses waiting time to optimize. Do you have any KPIs, key criteria for healthy marketplaces? Yes, of course we do. I think two in his presentation was tapping on one of the most important.
By healthy, you mean healthcare, or you mean a healthy marketplace, as in what is a good marketplace should be? Can you explain more with what is the healthy or healthcare? Just want to understand. Okay, a good marketplace. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Emre, you can go first, and I will add some more points.
Okay. So the first one, I think, as you mentioned, also customer acquisition cost. So CAC that we call is one of the most important KPIs that we'll look into. I think if you look into other KPIs, there's a humongous list that you can check in terms of traffic, in terms of acquisition, in terms of retention. So healthy marketplaces, meaning that, again, it's like assembling Boeing. So Boeing means that there's a lot of moving parts. As you can see in the customer journey, this can be applicable to anything. So a list of KPIs, I think I can share it on this next session as well, that we look into many variables. Yeah, please do.
Yeah, okay. So I want to add another point, is that for a healthy marketplace, as I told you, is that depending on the current phase of the marketplace that you are currently managing, if you are in your platform or your marketplace is still new, so the thing is that you should have a lot of what you need is a lot of new user on your platform, a lot of traffic, and also a lot of merchant on your platform. So the thing is, we should have some kind of an optimal. You should have some kind of an optimal ratio between the seller and buyer, and also an optimal ratio between how much you spend on the recruiting the new user or new seller. So I think that a market something as healthy is that you need to define how is the current situation, what is how much you can spend to acquire the user, and whether the current marketing activity, the advertising, the cost of your is currently within the acceptable margin of what you are doing right now. So I think that's depending. So I think if you need more of a in-depth discussion, you can chat with me and Emre on Messenger or Messenger or Facebook later, and I can help you more with understanding your marketplace. Because depending on the kind of marketplace you are having right now. Yeah. Okay. So anyone have any other question?
I think someone is asking your hands-on experience.
D2C, what is D2C? B2C, you mean? Direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think there is some, I don't know if any of them is profitable, because the profit number of on the marketplace is usually some of the most secret in the world. So we don't usually know how much they are actually profit. But when you're looking at platform like Lazada or Tiki or Sendo, and even Amazon, they took more than 10 years to break even. So I think that's saying profitable in this is not something that makes sense. But I think that I see that some of the FMCG in Vietnam here in the local, that they are doing something well. For example, if you know about Vinamilk. So for Vinamilk, for the last 2 years, I think they have been trying to shift their distribution and some of their selling of their product online, instead of just rely on traditional distribution channel. So I think Vinamilk is one of the brand here in Vietnam that you can research and see that they are doing. And I also know some of the other platform doing like direct to consumer, like beer. I think there was a website named King Beer, Vua Beer in Vietnamese, that selling beer online. That means instead of going to the you can order the beer online and it's shipped to your house. And I think it's what managed by Ibm Model, one of the biggest beer seller here in Vietnam and in the world. So I think that's also another that's doing. and I think based on their traffic and everything, they are doing okay, and their website have been operating for 3 years, not closing down yet. So I think it's still going on, and they still trying to optimize it to get more user. Do you have anything to add, Emre? Yeah.
Yeah, I think also Facebook Marketplace is also showing us the way to do from direct to any customer as well, because I think it's direct to customer. D2C is actually C2C as well. Direct means that I'm a seller of a service, I'm a seller of a product that I manufacture. As you mentioned, it could be it could be a component of something, or it could be a beer, it could be something consumable. So in this sense, I think Instagram, Facebook, and other social networks are very, very efficient on this.
Yeah. Okay. I see another question from Trang Minh Thung. Can you share your hand-on experience on implementing that concept, customer journey, in terms of time estimation, human budget, and resource? Okay, so I think to answer this question, I think you can PM me later. I can give you more information because that is some of the client, some of the things that I do, and it's not something that I can share very publicly. But for example, like something like the customer journey that I show here, something that we build is something that we build and do when I was in COVID. They have platform, for example, like we call the engagement platform, and the tracking. So basically, we have the tracking system. We will know how many the tracking system connect on the advertising channel like Facebook, Google. So basically, we know how many of them coming from each of the channel into the app platform, and then how many of them installed, and then how many of them would book the first trip on the platform, on the COVID platform, and how many of them would retain and would using our service, the service again after their first booking. So everything is tracking by the platform itself or by the third-party app. And so the third-party app is actually more of supporting in segmentation of the user and give the marketing people an easy way to engage with their target audience. So basically, when you use Grab or you go with, you will usually see them have the push notification on your phone. So that is also a kind of the engagement activity that they do with the support of a third-party platform. If you need help in the third-party platform or something related to that, you can PM me directly. I can share more information about that in detail. Thank you. Another question from Hoàng Mai. Do you engage with a market research consulting company to understand your visitor in active customer better, or you do it internally? Okay, I will answer this first, and if Emre have anything to add. So basically, for market research, I think to understand your customer, when you are a platform, or a marketplace, you usually will this kind of thing to understand the NBS I told you about. It should be something that you do internally, not something that you implement. You can get that information via a market research. Usually, you will do it internally. So there are third-party platform, and that you can integrate into your website, into your marketplace, into your platform. That can help you. So for example, any of the user who just make a purchase on your platform will automatically receive a pop-up on the website, or an email, or a push notification to ask them about the experience that they have on your website. So these things are so these things can be done automatically and internally by yourself, and no need to use the market research. For the market research, it usually what you use if you want to understand what people think about your about your platform overall, like the branding or how they perceive, or whether your brand positioning is going the right way, thing like that. So I think it's better to do it internally, depending on what you want to do. But it's engagement and it's internally. Yeah. You have anything you want to add, Emre?
I want to add also about like the product department of this company that we're hypothetically talking about, because if this company has a product department, it's actually the main job of a product department is to measure, to understand what the market needs are. So what we call visitors, inactive or active, it doesn't matter. It's just like it's an end user at the end and experiencing on the B side or the C side. So we need to use the tools. There's like Hotjar, A/B test, and everything, and then test the product. So I don't think in any stage you purposely put a market research. If you're launching a huge TVC or a TV campaign, then you might need it in the beginning and the end, maybe. But this depends on your budget again and what you want to understand from the marketplace.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the next question: which fintech company, according to your experience, is the most effective in deploying financial technology in Vietnam? I think this is a question for Emre, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, I mean, yeah, I'm experienced on finance, but the problem is my card is Citibank and or Citibank. The thing is, I cannot experience all these Momos or other payment channels and everything. I hear and I ask mostly to my wife, actually, like what she's using or what is the best experience of. And I think she's getting the best experience from Momo at the time. I can share.
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is something, if you want to understand more, Emre also have experience working in the financial in a financial institution before, like bank. So you can, if you want to add more, you can add him on Facebook and asking him directly. He can share more his mind and might be more relevant to talk separately instead. Yeah. Okay. A few more questions coming from Iran. How do you apply the Rfm model to evaluate customer lifetime value? Do you have to build an internal ranking system, or there is a benchmark? Okay, so these are two separate questions. So for the Rfm to evaluate the CLM, to customer lifetime value, I think, sorry, a bit noisy, my kid. So basically, for the Rfm, usually for the Rfm, you can build, if your product team is capable, you would be able to build an internal ranking system on would be able to build an internal segmentation capacity within the product, within the platform itself, for the people to, with a combination of the CRM and the web database, you would be able to build something to segmentation with your user. But if your product team do not have the capacity or do not have their roadmap, it have many other things to do, there is a third-party platform on the market that can help you do the segmentation of the user on your website. And currently, I think they are doing quite well. They also handle the tracking and also the loyalty. Some of them even handle the loyalty and engagement and everything in between. So so that is how you can do. So basically, you can do it internally if you have the tech capacity, or you can use a third-party system. Or is there a benchmark? Is the second question. So for the benchmark, I think the benchmark should be your historical data. So your platform has been operating for a while, then for 1 year, 2 years, or whatever, then you should have some kind of data in your system. And you should be mining, or you should be looking at that data, and you should be the one who set some of the first benchmark based on your business strategy, based on your business goal, and then you set the benchmark. And the benchmark is not something you set in stone, you set up and then you use it for forever, for an eternity. What you should do in your benchmark is something that you set up and you optimize, you change it, and you update it over the time for it to be more suited with your current situation. Yeah. So that is the thing with the benchmark. And the next question also from Iran is, what is the factor to determine an optimal time to re-engage churn activity user? What captcha you do to run to know the best amount of time? I think for the churn and inactive user, as I said, it's entirely depending on your product and your platform. For example, if you are you do marketing for GoVid or for Grab, so basically, usually, if someone do not use your product in 1 month, then they become churns, and that is easily, and that is a suitable time. But if you are doing marketing for a gym, for example, like California Fitness, so basically, when someone buy a product from you, they buy usually California sell people. We try to sell you 3 months, 6 months, or even 1 year package. So if you become their customer, you buy a 3-month bucket. That means after 3 months and you do not buy again, you become a churn customer. So basically, that the time will be entirely depending on the business model and depending on the platform, on the business that you are currently manage. So I think you can shoot me a question via the what is your business model that you are currently doing. Just send me via messenger, and I can explain to you more based on your specific situation, and I think it should be more suitable, relevant. Okay, thank you. Another question. I just got confused how to measure CAC for refer customer, as there will be a minority coming from word of mouth. Thank you. Okay, so for my experience, to monitor the CAC for the refer customer, actually you can still monitor it, because if you want to track the loyalty user, usually you will have some kind of system, and if you have a system, there will be the cost. There will be the cost to maintain the system. There will be the cost to issue. So, for example, if someone recommend a user to you, then do you pay them a small amount of money, like the commission, or you give them some kind of small discount or some coupon for them to thank them for introduce new people? All of these are the costs. So basically, the cost of the refer customer is the cost coming from your loyalty system, from that, and that should be also be factor as a CAC cost. But CAC cost for the refer customer, it would be a bit different from the CAC cost for the new customer that coming from the advertising from the back channel. Yeah, that's what I would like to clarify. Okay, I may have. Okay, you want to add something?
Yeah, no, not to this, but I definitely agree with you on that. I think I will take the Facebook one. So in the presentation, I didn't ignore, actually. I called them the social networks. So in this sense, actually, way before Facebook Marketplace was launched, I think in Vietnam, it happened last year, but this was actually 3 years ago. First in, if I'm not mistaken, Central Eastern Europe, it happened. Early on in the 2010, actually, Facebook acquired Oodle in United States. And actually, they tried this marketplace strategy way before. And this was, by the way, eBay also got into marketplaces by Ibm Motors, and also other many other social networks tried this, or the angle of marketplace. But the thing is, if you think I'm ignoring it, I'm not. I see it as a kind of tentative competitor against any marketplaces. but I don't think Facebook is going to disrupt the verticals, let's say, because their approach at the end can be only linger into my friends of friends, let's call it the zones. So selling this, I don't know, baby stroller or something. In this network effect, I can also talk to him or message him through Messenger. I don't think I need I need a messenger. I need a marketplace tool to do that. So, but in direct to customer approach, I definitely agree that these are the things that they're gonna make money from, actually.
Yeah.
And you can see that in Instagram how effective it is, actually.
Okay. Okay. Hope that clarify your question, Nguyễn Hoàng Mai. So for Hoàng Minh Sung, another question asks for the communication message for marketplace for buy and sell. Should we, in other words, should we write seller and buyer in the same campaign? So basically, the answer is no. You should have separate campaign for the seller and separate campaign for the buyer, because for the seller, the purpose of the seller and buyer is very different, right? So the driver, the seller, they come to your website because they believe that they can sell the product here, and that they can find their user in there. So basically, that's why they join your marketplace. And for the buyer, they believe that they can find the product they want and need in your platform, and that's why they come to your marketplace. So basically, the two is very different, and you should not, and it's not optimal to targeting them using the same campaign. Or if what you mean is that for when you do you have a marketplace, if you want to run a branding campaign and you want to targeting them, you should you targeting them with the same communication message. So I think that is something that you can do if you are talking about branding, then it is something that maybe you can do because but I think it should be a little bit the effectiveness should also be a little bit limited, or sometimes because if you're talking to rock, it's becoming kind of it's becoming kind of what I mean, it's becoming kind of not effective if you target both of them in the same campaign. So even if you running a branding campaign, you still have different channel which you can choose to target. For example, like usually if you have a separate campaign for the seller, what kind of channel they usually doing? If your seller is usually on Facebook, then you run a seller campaign on Facebook and targeting them entirely. And if you have a buyer, then you have a separate buyer campaign for the branding running entirely in that. But overall, I still think that you should have different campaign, even if it's branding. Okay, hope that's clear. Or you can shoot me a message separately. I can have to clarify more about that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's do on the final question before we are off. In your experience, what is the biggest source of customer acquisition of e-com marketplace? Marketplace? So I think the biggest one should be Facebook right now. I think most of the marketplace rely on Facebook because their user is on there. So they usually have the Facebook is usually the biggest bad traffic, and the second and the for the non-bad traffic is a good source. So that's why many of the e-commerce website they focus and they invest a lot in the SEO, search engine optimization, to get more people when they search for search term, they can get more more organic traffic to their website as well. And I think these are the two most biggest source of customer acquisition for the e-com marketplace. So basically, usually there's no free traffic.
Correct.
Yeah, free traffic when you running a marketplace or e-commerce. There's no free traffic. You one way or another, you have to spend the money. Yeah. Okay, another another question from Nguyệt. So we will try to answer this one. And if you still have any or the question, you can add me on Facebook, and I and Emre will try to answer later. Emre, you can type your Facebook link here as well. And for your question, when managing a marketplace, you need to review fraud buyer seller, which kind of criteria to find them. I think Emre quite familiar with this one. Can you
yeah, for sure. Great. So I think it's a great question to close with. So when I was talking about in the slides as well on the transparency and opaqueness of the market, so I call this the 3T of the marketplaces at the moment in Vietnam as a stage, because right now we have the trust issue as well. So to understand, the thing is there's a lot of strategies, a lot of product angles to tap into, and this differs from categories. If it's a car vertical, it's totally different. If it's a real estate vertical, it's totally different, and job is totally different, and services complement totally completely different. But in a nutshell, what we can find as a similar thing is it's educating, making them clear to follow the guidelines, kind of a checklist that you do, and then guide them through either an offline education or online on the blog side, as Tu mentioned as well, that when you're doing a marketing campaign, you don't do a marketing campaign for a home buyer and a broker on the same shot, right? You differentiate it. This is the same thing. You do a blog post for a broker to explain it, how to sell a property more faster. This is also to reduce the fraud risks, right? And also, I'm not sure if this answers totally your question, but there's, again, on the product side, there's kind of many angles to attend this in classifieds, which haven't been done in Vietnam. 100% clear on that.
Yeah, thank you. Hope that answer your question. So I think it's half hour more than what we planned, but anyway, it's I hope that this section would be useful for everybody who joined in this webinar, and we will have several more follow-up more. We will talk more about the criteria. We talk about more about the metric. We'll talk more about the acquisition. We'll talk more about the acquisition tactic. Hopefully, I will try to find some good people who have knowledge about this one for some follow-up webinar, because I think it's quite useful for many people here. So keep in touch with me. Check back my Facebook one in a while and see up. I think I will have an announcement for another webinar next week, and hopefully we would have people joining as well if it's useful for you. So thank you for your time today, and if you have any question, do not hesitate to add me and Emre on Facebook. Shoot us some question, and if you are running a marketplace or a platform business, I and Emre is also doing the consulting for many of the other startup and marketplace player, so we can also give you some kind of advice, support if you need any. Okay, thank you and bye bye. See you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Thanks a lot too.
Thank you, Emre, for your time today.
Take care.
See you in a few weeks after the outbreak.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. Take care.
Take care.